but I met a guy. He was a multi-millionaire. He wasn't making all that much money. I asked him what his investment strategy was. This is what he told me. But one of the big things that people say about investing in individual stocks is that it's like gambling and you're going to lose money. They confuse the statement of not beating the market with losing money. Not beating the market does not mean you're losing money. It means you're not beating the market. They say that most professionals can't beat the market. Well, actually, there's a good amount of professionals that beat the market, but after all of their fees and all of the things are considered, they actually are not beating the market. They might beat the market before their fees, but then after their fees, they don't beat the market. So if you are investing on your own and you're beating the market, but you're only beating the market by like 1%. Well, beating the market by 1% over the course of 20, 30 years is still is going to lead to a significant difference over time, especially if you're investing a large amount of money. Obviously, the opposite is true. If you're not beating the market by 1%, if the market is beating you by 1%, then that also adds up over time. But here's some things to consider. You're still making money, assuming the market is going up during that time period. I mean, if you're beating the market, but the market is, if you're beating the market by 20%, but the market is down 40%, then obviously you're still losing money. But I think a lot of people just get confused about what it means to not beat the market. A lot of times people hear you didn't beat the market and it means you lose money. So my point is, buying individual stocks can still be, if that is your way of going about doing it, then that's completely fine. People are allowed to have hobbies. A lot of times people get so invested in their ideology about investing that they just can't see it some other way. Like index investors are some of the most annoying people on the planet. I'm an index investor. 99% of my money is invested in index funds. But that doesn't make them not annoying people. Like the people who are hardcore index investors are annoying. They're like crypto bros. They're the same way that cryptocurrency people are. Cryptocurrency people are like so aggressive. If you don't believe in cryptocurrency, you're an idiot. Like usually they get really quiet, like times right now. Like for example, when the cryptocurrency just recently crashed, all the crypto bros, they just kind of disappear. You stop hearing about them so much. They don't walk up to you in public and tell you to buy crypto. When I was doing Uber and Lyft and during the height of the cryptocurrency, the last hip cryptocurrency craze, and Dogecoin was going through the roof and Dogecoin millionaire was getting on the Forbes list, all of these crazy things was happening. I literally had a bunch of people in my Uber telling me to invest in Dogecoin. And if I would have followed his advice, I would have lost a lot of money, because when he was telling me to invest in there, it was at the very, very top. But index investors are the same way as far as how crazy they are. And the worst thing about index investors is that they actually have a point. It actually is a good idea to invest in index funds, which makes them even more of douchebaggery when they talk about it is okay to do something that is less than optimal. Well, that is possibly the idea that you can't beat the market. Some people can beat the market. Some people can hit the lottery. Some people can become musicians. Some people can become famous musicians. Some people can become full-time YouTubers. All of these things that people say that you shouldn't do because they're unlikely to be successful, some people do them, and they do them successfully. And there are people who are probably beating the market that are not famous. They're just someone who they're a private investor. They work their main job. They work 40, 50 hours a week, and they make good money doing it. And then in their free time, they invest in different stocks. They do hardcore research because they enjoy doing it, and then they invest, and then they beat the market. They're not going to be on Forbes. They're not going to be on any of these things. They're not doing it professionally. They're just doing it for their own portfolio, maybe their husband or wife's portfolio. And that's it. And no, you would never know about that person. You would never know about that person. You would never know. They don't have a YouTube talking about how great their returns are. In fact, I think being on YouTube is probably harmful for your returns. Why? Because when you're on YouTube, first off, if I have a portfolio that I like, I have 15 stocks, and these are the stocks I want. I haven't really found anything else I want to buy. Haven't found anything else I want to sell. I have these 15 stocks and they're performing well. If you have a YouTube channel talking about the stocks that you own, it almost encourages you to do more buying and selling of stocks. Like, you have to keep it active, because what are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about, oh, well, these, I'm talking, like, for example, you have a channel where you talk about, you make your most popular video is what stocks I'm buying this week, or what stocks I'm selling this week. If you're not buying or selling any stocks, then what are you going to talk about? I mean, you can talk about the market in general, you can talk about all these other things, but at the end of the day, it's still not, it still encourages you to talk about more, because you're going to get more views if you're saying, oh, I'm buying this stock. Then you get more engagement, you get more people talking about it. And I don't think it's conducive to non-emotional, objective investing. So my point is, the person that is likely an average person who beats the market is probably not going to be someone you ever hear about. But anyway, even if you don't beat the market, let's say, for example, you're someone who is not beating the market by 1%. Let's say the market is averaging 8%, and let's say you're averaging 7%. Over a long time, that really adds up. However, but let's say that keeps you motivated in investing. Or let's say that keeps you from doing things that are irrational. Let's say, for example, if you invest in index funds, since you don't really know what's happening with the market, you're kind of not paying attention, that leads you to be more emotional when the stocks go up and down, because you don't really know what's happening. But if you're investing in companies, some people will feel more comfortable with that, because they know what's going on with the companies. They've done research on the companies. They kind of know what the position they're in, and that helps them feel more comfortable. That leads them to be more rational in their decision-making process. Or it just motivates them to have more money, work more money, put more money in investments, because it's their hobby. They want to put more money into their hobby, and stock investing is their hobby, so that encourages them to do more investing. It's okay for that to happen. You don't have, and even if they do that, you can do both. It's not like you can do index investing and stock investing. And even if you're underperforming by, like I said, 2%, you're still making money if the stock market continues to go up. I don't think it's a guarantee that the stock market will go up. I think it's like a very, 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 very high probability, but you never know. So for me, it's just one of those things where people get very religious about, and I'm going to make a video completely talking about this more detail. All of the religions of finance. There's a lot of different religions of finance. Right now, I'm just talking about the religion of index investing, and how people get very itchy about, if you say that you buy individual stocks, they're like, oh, you're gambling, you're going to lose money. I'm like, it just annoys me that people can't understand the difference between not beating the market and losing money. Those are two separate things. And a lot of people here, yes, you have an opportunity cost loss. You can look at it from that perspective. The opportunity cost loss of that 1% you could have gotten if you were investing in index funds. You can consider that a loss if you want to, but it's not really a loss. That's not money you ever had. It's a lost opportunity, but it's not loss of money. So at the end of the day, if you're investing in index funds, that's great. That's a good way to go. But if you're buying individual stocks, you don't have to go cuss the guy out because he's buying individual stocks. Oh, you're stupid. You shouldn't do it. Everyone should buy index funds. Not everyone. And then also, even if you're investing mostly in index funds, you might be looking through and you find an opportunity to invest into a stock that you really enjoy, and not enjoy. I mean, enjoying, like, it has a good opportunity to make you money. And if you go do that, that's fine. I met a guy. I don't want to get too much into his situation, but I met a guy. He was a multi-millionaire. I don't know how old he was. He was probably like in his 50s or 40s. He was a multi-millionaire. He wasn't making all that much money. He was a multi-millionaire. And his investment, I asked him what his investment strategy was. This is what he told me. This sounds like this is a fake story, but you have to understand that the nature of my jobs over the last 2 years. I did Uber and Lyft, which I did almost over 8,000 rides with Uber and Lyft. On top of that, I've done taxes for hundreds of people. So I meet tons of different types of people from all around the world. So I met this guy. He was a multimillionaire. And I know for sure he was a multimillionaire. I don't want to say, well, how I know. I just know he was a multimillionaire. And his investment strategy was he puts all of his money that he invests in retirement funds into index funds. All of that is in index funds. And then all of the money that he invests outside of his retirement accounts, he buys individual stocks with that. He was a multimillionaire. He was a young multimillionaire. I think he was in his 40s like mid 40s or early 50s. He was a young guy. Multimillionaire, and that was his investment strategy. There are multiple ways to wealth, folks. You don't have to do it this way or that way.